The city of Mulberry is looking to annex Crawford County land for a proposed solar project. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll have the latest coming up.
Plus, law enforcement provide essential safety tips for a safe Halloween night of trick-or-treating. And the NBA examines sports betting education after arrest rock the league.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Crawford County Commissioners set a public hearing date for a land annexation, clearing the way for a $500 million solar project. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. The Mulberry City Council recently voted in favor of a land annexation to build the solar farm with Shasta Power. But first, Crawford County Commissioners have to approve it. KOAM's Kenny Foreman breaks down the latest in regards to that process.
Voting in favor of the annexation seemed like a no-brainer for the Mulberry City Council. Councilman and State Representative Ken Collins says his hometown would reap the benefits.
This would increase our tax base. It would help us to provide services to the existing residents, and I would like to see maybe a little bit of a turnaround here in town.
But it's not quite a done deal yet. The city first has to go through the Crawford County Commissioners in order to acquire the land.
The commissioners have to look at not only the area that's involved, but also any potential city conflicts that may occur, or whether or not that would hinder the growth of those cities and or that area.
The city of Mulberry sent Crawford County an annexation resolution back on October 20th, setting up a 30-day window for the county to review it. A public hearing is set for November 13th before a final decision is expected to be made by November 19th.
The city of Mulberry has chosen what's called landowner consent island annexation, so the land does not touch the boundaries of the city of Mulberry. Therefore, they have to get landowner consent to that annexation.
Collins says he understands not all residents may be on board with the landowner's plans to build a solar farm, but he expects many will wind up pleasantly surprised.
A lot of people don't want it, and that's fine. They have the right to voice their concerns. But I think when it's all built and all settled, I think everyone will be happy with it.
In Crawford County, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Crawford County Councilor Jim Emerson says he does not expect any major developments prior to the 13th, but invites the public to attend county commission meetings, which are held every Tuesday. Well, shovels hit the ground today as city leaders and community members celebrate the start of a new chapter for one of Joplin's historic parks. Ewart Park, a cornerstone of the Easttown neighborhood, is getting a nearly $10 million makeover. The renovation will bring big changes, including a new splash park, playground, and an ice skating rink in the winter months.
Ewart Park is a pillar of the black community here in Joplin. It goes back to the era of segregation, where there was not a park that was set aside for the African American community at that time. So historically, it had always held that tradition of being the park in the community, a community park that was open to everyone. It's going to be so inviting, not just for the Joplin community, but the entire community as a whole.
The project is funded through the city's parks and stormwater sales tax and is expected to be finished in mid to late 2026. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
It definitely turned out to be a cold, rainy day for us today, or shall we say chilly. 60 for a high, but below our average high is 66 degrees. And we've had the clouds, the on and off showers, and the wind really started to pick up as we got into the evening hours. So let me take you through the rest of the night. On and off showers, more persistent Missouri into Arkansas, but we are still going to have showers. Kansas and Oklahoma. Here's 4:30 in the morning. Light showers continue, especially through the morning hours, and especially on the Missouri and also the Arkansas side. Look at our temperatures. We struggle to really warm up as we even go into the daytime hours on Wednesday. High temps mainly into lower 50s, and then we drop into the upper 30s as we head into Thursday morning. So we're going to look at the rest of your week here in just a bit.
All right, well, having fun and keeping safe are both important when it comes to Halloween. KOAM's Ty Parks spoke with the Newton County Sheriff about how parents can make sure their kids receive treats instead of tricks.
Having fun on Halloween night is important, but so is being safe.
There's a lot of different Halloween safety tips. Some are, try to go in a group if you can. That way you can kind of help watch out for each other. Try to go trick-or-treating during the day if possible. Want to try to hit homes that you're familiar with or neighborhoods you're familiar with, and try to stay away from areas that you maybe not be familiar with and don't know anybody that lives there.
Look at the neighborhood you are planning to trick-or-treat. Sex offenders are not required to mark their homes this year, but they are required to stay inside and keep their homes dark.
So some of the things when they're dressing up, try to not wear a mask that obscures your vision so you can make sure to see your surroundings. Try to wear reflective clothing, either a reflective bag or something that's on the costume itself that's reflective so other people can see you.
Parents and families are already making plans to stay safe this night.
Definitely be having glow sticks, and we're going to do pairs. We have a group of 6 kids coming with us, so we definitely stay in pairs and have glow sticks, and we stay alongside of them.
According to the Newton County Sheriff, poisoning or tampering with candy does happen, but it is very rare.
Eat candy that has been prepackaged, so don't take any homemade food or homemade candy because there's no way to check on that, and to make sure that the wrappers are still intact.
Trick-or-treating in Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Well, if you're looking for an alternative to traditional trick-or-treating, just scan this QR code and head over to our events page where you'll find plenty of fall fun. You'll find information on all kinds of events, fall festivals, haunted houses, and more. That's the community events page at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, coming up, the shutdown crisis continues.
As the government shutdown drags on, more serious consequences are on the horizon. I'm Rebecca Castor on Capitol Hill with the added pressure on lawmakers just ahead.
But up first, medical experts caution against viral dental trends that promise quick fixes but deliver damage. From using rubber bands to close teeth gaps to applying certain substances to get pearly whites glowing even brighter, dentists say the internet is full of at-home tricks and remedies for achieving better oral health. But many experts say some tricks may not work and others might even do more harm than good. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten reports.
While social media can be used to help spread information, medical experts say not all of it may be accurate as they warn folks about easily trusting online health tips. This is a growing number of dentists say taking a bite out of certain tooth content you see online could wind up being catastrophic to your chompers. According to Dr. Matthew Messina of The Ohio State University,
one of the biggest things that I see with TikTok trends is people, if they don't want to go to the dentist, they're looking for some easier, quicker DIY hack for something.
Dr. Messina recommends asking your dentist before trying a trend and says not every tip you see is guaranteed to provide the same results for everyone.
It may have worked for this influencer, but you don't have the same problem they do, or you're coming from a different place, and you may be actually making your situation worse.
Some do-it-yourself trends can even wear away at a tooth's enamel, the hard outer layer that protects the tooth from damage like cavities.
There's talk about charcoal. Charcoal's very abrasive, so, can I whiten teeth by using an abrasive? Yes. In the same way that I can take my hardwood floors in the house and make them lighter by sanding them.
Meanwhile, Dr. Messina says don't use hacks as a replacement for actual medical care, and he recommends focusing on these strategies for maintaining healthy teeth and gums.
Brushing twice a day, flossing or cleaning between your teeth with a water flosser once a day, eating a healthy diet.
Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later the Gorilla Women's Squad receives top 10 recognition in the preseason polls. Sports Director Ryan Blank has that story and more in sports.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a cloudy, wet day for us today, especially late afternoon into the early afternoon hours. Just periods of light, sometimes moderate showers, the heaviest now mainly sitting on the Missouri and also the Arkansas side, and that's where it's going to be as we go through really the rest of the night. Let's jump forward just a bit. Here's 11:30 p.m. Showers continue, especially Stockton, Monette, Cassville. A little spottier once you get from Bentonville, Anderson, up toward Pittsburgh, but they are going to be out there. Also, very cold rain, lower 40s, very windy as well. Lower 40s. Here's 4:30 in the morning. As we continue through the morning hours, 9:30 in the morning, mainly dry Kansas and Oklahoma, but it's wet. Missouri and then into Arkansas. Light showers start to taper off. Once we get into the early afternoon, we may even get a little bit of sunshine in here late afternoon into the evening hours. But look at these temperatures. We're sitting lower 50s for highs. All right, as we go through tomorrow night, we cool down upper 30s. So it gets kind of chilly. And then once we get to Thursday afternoon, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. So quite a bit cooler over the next couple days. Additional rainfall, fairly light. Maybe a quarter, maybe a half an inch, especially on the Missouri side. Here is your day planner for Wednesday. Let's go 44 in the morning, 47 by noon. High temp only 51. That's all we can do. It's also going to be windy. We're going to have these northwesterly winds kicking in 30 upwards to 40, maybe 43 miles per hour at times. It stays windy as we go at least through the morning hours on Wednesday, and then the wind, I mean, it's going to be windy all day, but it slowly starts to tick down as we get into the afternoon hours. Of course, we had major hurricane Melissa made landfall this morning. Look at that intense eye wall right over western Jamaica, and then it disappears. These hurricanes, they feed off warm water, so over land they weaken, but now that eye wall north of Jamaica has kind of recirculated and starting to strengthen once again. Now a category 4, or actually down to category 3 hurricane, but could strengthen back to a strong 3 or a lower 4 as it presses through Cuba and then out to sea. So thankfully, unfortunately for Jamaica, thankfully for the lower 48, we did not see a lower 48 landfall. All right, northwest flow sticking around as we go through the next couple days, so our temperatures stay chilly all the way through the weekend. And then as we get in next week, a little bit of ridging, meaning we'll start to warm back up just a bit, which is going to be nice before our next storm system affects us late next week and then heading into next weekend. All right, 51, that's it on Wednesday, 58 on Thursday, 61 on Friday. Not a bad Halloween. A chilly weekend. Also remember, you gain an extra hour sleep this weekend as daylight saving time ends, and then 60s and 70s next week.
That's right. Don't forget to change your clocks. Well, Christmas came early in Joplin as Freeman Health System and city leaders unwrapped this year's parade theme, Then and Now. The parade kicks off December 2nd at 6 p.m. in downtown Joplin.
Freeman Health System has a storied tradition in this community. We've been around for a century, and really we're excited to see what people think of and get their creative juices flowing on reflecting the theme of Then and Now. And I'm sure we'll see things across the spectrum, but I can't wait to see the community come together.
This year's Grand Marshal will be community historian Brad Belk from Missouri Southern. Registration for parade entries is now open, and you can find more information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, coming up next, the NBA's gambling scandal.
The NBA issues its official response to the massive gambling bust announced last week. I'm CB Cotton here in New York. I've got those details coming up.
The NBA faces its biggest gambling scandal in decades after last week's shocking arrest. 34 people, including players and coaches, are charged in a massive betting bust that rocked the sports world. Now the league is scrambling to restore public trust and protect its reputation. CB Cotton reports on the NBA's response and what comes next.
The NBA initially didn't find anything wrong. So they're going to have to answer for that.
4 days ago, the sports world was shocked by the arrest of 34 people, including NBA players and coaches, as part of a massive gambling bust. And now the league is responding. Officials sent a memo to all 30 teams on Monday outlining how they plan to recover from the scandal and regain public trust.
It's historic, and it's going to have an impact on the way that fans view the NBA, on the way that fans view gambling in the NBA.
The league writing in part, quote, "Every effort must be made to ensure that players, coaches, and other NBA personnel are fully aware of the dire risk that gambling can impose." But it also goes further, announcing an internal investigation and hinting that the daily injury reports widely used by gamblers could be under review, writing, quote, "We believe there is more that can be done from a legal regulatory perspective to protect the integrity of the NBA." That integrity took a hit last week when Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and Hall of Famer Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups were indicted. Fans were shocked at the extent of the allegations, which included games rigged by the mafia. But most say they're ready to move on and focus on basketball.
To find this news out after the very first games, it's a bummer. I think we can do just fine. I think we can pull something out here.
The league also says it's asking teams for more input on how to make sure their players stay away from illegal gambling. In New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
Well, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety releases its 2025 top safety picks, recognizing 9 new car models for outstanding crash protection. 6 earned the Top Safety Pick Plus award. The Audi all-new A5, Audi Q6 Sportback e-tron, the BMW X3, the Ford Explorer, the Hyundai Ioniq 9, and the Kia Sportage. Now, this top ranking requires a good rating in crashworthiness and good or acceptable in headlight and pedestrian emergency braking test.
2 of the vehicles, the BMW X3 and the Ford Explorer, improved their headlights, which is really encouraging this time of year as the time change occurs and it's darker at night. So we're really pushing for improved headlights.
The 6 new vehicles that did not earn safety awards struggled in the new moderate overlap frontal crash test. That test includes a rear occupant, and IIHS says in many cases there were issues with the seatbelt or risk of chest injury. American beef farmers express concerns over President Trump's plan to import more beef from Argentina in an effort to lower consumer prices. The proposal comes as cattle ranchers face financial pressure, and beef prices have increased 44% over the past decade. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Missouri farmer Jeff Jones has operated his Angus farm for more than 50 years.
Are hoping that we can keep these farms in the family name and be able to help the future have opportunities instead of issues.
Republican lawmakers, including Missouri Representative Mark Alford, opposed the import plan. Jones says American farmers need better labeling to compete with foreign beef and wants consumers to know the origin of their meat. He believes it's fair market conditions that will help keep family farms operating for future generations. Coming up next, a Southwest Missouri kindergarten teacher receives the McDonald's Outstanding Educator Award. A McDonald County kindergarten teacher beats out nearly 500 nominees to win the McDonald's Outstanding Educator Award for exceptional classroom work. Patty Lett from White Rock Elementary School earned the 2025 recognition after she was nominated for being a kind, caring, compassionate, and patient teacher. The award program launched in 2020 to celebrate area teachers who go the extra mile for their students.
It's going to help a lot. I'm going to be able to probably buy some books for them and some games. So I've kind of got a list of things that I've been looking at of things to buy for the classroom.
Well, Lett's selection from more than 480 nominations across the 4 states highlights her dedication in the classroom. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Air traffic controllers missed their first paycheck as the government shutdown drags into week 3. In Kansas, representatives and senators are rejecting their paychecks until the government shutdown ends.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. As the government shutdown drags on, air traffic controllers missed their first full paycheck today. Soon, food aid benefits will run out for millions of people across the country. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more from Capitol Hill, where a GOP bill to fund the government failed for the 13th time.
This wasn't my plan for the month of October. My plan was to get the government funded with as little drama as possible.
But all it's been is drama for lawmakers trying to get Washington back up and running. And now more serious consequences of a drawn-out shutdown are beginning to show. Air traffic controllers are missing paychecks and canvassing outside airports to let travelers know how the shutdown is impacting them.
So one of these workers that works at Logan right now, he's the sole provider for his family, right? His wife can't find employment. He's living paycheck to paycheck, and now he doesn't know when the next paycheck is going to come.
Well, I've looked at the FAA budget to see if we could find resources to pay our controllers. The answer is open up the government.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says flying is still safe, but travelers should be prepared for delays. Adding to the pressure, funding for federal food assistance programs like SNAP dries up on Saturday. And the Agriculture Secretary says there's no contingency fund.
There's not just pots of $9.2 billion sitting around.
At least 25 states are suing the Ag Department, arguing it's legally required to keep providing benefits, while the nation's largest union representing federal workers is calling for Democrats to support the GOP bill to end the shutdown. But they remain pressed over expiring Obamacare subsidies.
I think this is a righteous fight for health care affordability for all Americans.
Vice President J.D. Vance also here on Capitol Hill today, having lunch with Senate Republicans and game planning how to win over more Democrats. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
A group of federal lawmakers from Kansas say they are refusing their pay until the federal government shutdown ends. The 5 Republicans and 1 Democrat say they will not take their paychecks until both parties reach a deal. Sharice Davids, a Democrat from Northeast Kansas, says, quote, federal workers, active duty service members, and other Kansans will not receive their full paychecks this month. In solidarity, until Congress comes to a bipartisan resolution to this impasse and fully reopens the government, I wish for my pay to be deferred. Davids joins 5 other Kansas representatives, including U.S. Representatives Ron Estes, Tracy Mann, and Derek Schmidt, in addition to U.S. Senators Jerry Moran and Roger Marshall. Members of the U.S. House and Senate earn an annual salary of $174,000, or about $14,000 a month. We have a link to the full letter from Representative Davids on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, this holiday season, families across the 4-state area face tough choices about putting food on the table. The federal shutdown cuts food assistance funding after this Friday, forcing more people to local pantries. And our 4-state pantries are working harder than ever to meet the growing needs of our neighbors. And we're kicking off our Feed the 4 States campaign early this year to help. All you have to do is scan this QR code and your donation will go to a food pantry near you. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, pain in the state you play.
The World Series and the NBA regular season get underway. I'm Joe Morgan in Los Angeles, and I'll tell you why many athletes may be thinking about tax season.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a cloudy, wet day for us today, especially late afternoon into the early afternoon hours. Just periods of light, sometimes moderate showers, the heaviest now mainly sitting on the Missouri and also the Arkansas side, and that's where it's going to be as we go through really the rest of the night. Let's jump forward just a bit. Here's 11:30 p.m. Showers continue, especially Stockton, Monette, Cassville, a little spottier once you get from Bentonville, Anderson, up toward Pittsburgh, but they are going to be out there. Also very cold rain, lower 40s, very windy as well. Lower 40s, here's 4:30 in the morning. As we continue through the morning hours, 9:30 in the morning, mainly dry Kansas and Oklahoma, but it's wet, Missouri, and then into Arkansas. Light showers start to taper off. Once we get into the early afternoon, we may even get a little bit of sunshine in here late afternoon into the evening hours. But look at these temperatures. We're sitting lower 50s for highs. All right, as we go through tomorrow night, we cool down upper 30s. So it gets kind of chilly, and then once we get to Thursday afternoon, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. So quite a bit cooler over the next couple days. Additional rainfall, fairly light, maybe a quarter, maybe a half an inch, especially on the Missouri side. Here is your day planner for Wednesday. Let's go 44 in the morning, 47 by noon. High temp only 51. That's all we can do. It's also going to be windy. We're going to have these northwesterly winds kicking in 30 upwards to 40, maybe 43 miles per hour at times. It stays windy as we go at least through the morning hours on Wednesday, and then the wind, it's going to be windy all day, but it slowly starts to tick down as we get into the afternoon hours. Of course, we had major hurricane Melissa made landfall this morning. Look at that intense eye wall right over western Jamaica, and then it disappears. These hurricanes, they feed off warm water, so over land they weaken, but now that eye wall north of Jamaica has kind of recirculated and starting to strengthen once again. Now a Category 4, or actually down to Category 3 hurricane, but could strengthen back to a strong 3 or a lower 4 as it presses through Cuba and then out to sea. So thankfully, unfortunately for Jamaica, thankfully for the lower 48, we did not see a lower 48 landfall. All right, northwest flow sticking around as we go through the next couple days, so our temperatures stay chilly all the way through the weekend. And then as we get in next week, a little bit of ridging, meaning we'll start to warm back up just a bit, which is going to be nice before our next storm system affects us late next week and then heading into next weekend. All right, 51, that's it on Wednesday, 58 on Thursday, 61 on Friday. Not a bad Halloween. A chilly weekend. Also remember, you gain an extra hour sleep this weekend as daylight saving time ends, and then 60s and 70s next week.
All right. Well, Hurricane Melissa, like Doug said, is making a historic landfall along Jamaica's south coast, threatening millions of people with catastrophic flooding and storm surge. Fox weather correspondent Robert Ray has more from St. Ann Parish, Jamaica.
Melissa barreling into the Jamaican coast as a Category 5 hurricane, becoming the strongest storm to hit the island on record. Multiple deaths have already been reported. The system is now threatening the island's 3 million residents with 175-mile-per-hour wind gusts, torrential rain, and a life-threatening storm surge as high as 13 feet.
It is very serious, guys, and it is going to be something different. It will be hard to digest when this is over.
Before Melissa neared the coast, communities reported landslides, fallen trees, and power outages. But officials here say water remains the biggest threat. In Montego Bay, officials hope the last-minute measures they took to prevent potential flooding will protect the vulnerable areas.
We are at risk, existential risks, and we have to ensure that we have the necessary things in place to facilitate ourselves and to facilitate the weather that we have to experience from time to time.
Mandatory evacuations were ordered in flood-prone communities, but some folks insisted on staying. And with the cleanup expected to be slow, many are wondering what the state of the island will be in the days and weeks to come.
That's what we're already worried about, and of course ourselves. I have 2 small kids.
Hurricane Melissa is expected to turn northeast and exit Jamaica as a Category 4, and then make her way up into Cuba, Turks and Caicos, and the Bahamas. In St. Ann Parish, Jamaica, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs stick to their winning way with another big win at home over the Commanders on Monday night. Up next, KOM Sports Director Ryan Blank will recap the game and some of the biggest moments from KC's win.
The Kansas City Chiefs are on fire with another primetime win this week. I was at the game, so let's recap the action from Arrowhead Stadium last night. The Kansas City Chiefs make it 3 wins in a row with a big win on Monday night over the Washington Commanders. And the story in the early going of this one was defense. While the Kansas City offense struggled at the start, the Chiefs defense stepped up, forcing multiple Washington turnovers, including Mike Dana's first career interception.
Super cool, man. The guy kind of works his tail off, does a lot of different things for us, rushes inside, outside, plays a little bit of 3 technique, little tackle, and on the edge as well. So I was happy that guy was able to go out there and make a play for our team. We needed it. We're bleeding a little bit on that drive, and so making that stop was huge for us. We have a lot of nucleus of guys staying here. It's been here for a long time. Guys that we got drafted here, and it's been 3 or 4 years in the same system. So the communication part makes it a lot easier on me. But also just playing in the middle, and you have trust on the guys on the outsides of you. They're going to do their job and helps you play faster.
Entering halftime tied at 7, the message was clear for the Chiefs as they focused on execution following the slow start. head coach Andy Reid credited his team with their ability to fight through the early challenges.
I like the way the guys went about it. You're going to need mental toughness when you play in this league. There's so much parity, and you've got to fight through some of the highs and lows and continue. Even with the good plays, you got to make sure that you're bringing a fastball the next play. So I appreciate the effort in doing that.
The Chiefs' offense would find its rhythm in the second half, scoring 21 unanswered points, making it 5 straight games with at least 28 points scored.
When we got in the locker room, we talked about executing. It's sometimes you want to press and make stuff happen, especially on a big game like Monday Night Football, and we weren't doing that. They had more energy than we did, their defense versus our offense, and so we had to match their energy and execute at a higher level, and we were able to do that in that second half and start off that first drive, and then we kind of continue that momentum through the rest of the second half.
It's almost unexplainable. It's really fun, obviously. It's even more fun to see each week how we progress, and each week someone else is getting involved and making big plays or touchdowns.
During that big stretch in the second half, another Chief reached a major milestone as Patrick Mahomes connected with Travis Kelce for a score, putting him at the top alongside Priest Holmes for the most touchdowns in franchise history.
For him to be able to do what he's done over this amount of time is great. And still, as you guys know, you come out to practice, you see that energy. He's got energy every day, and he's not the youngest guy. So he just goes and goes.
He's just like the true Chiefs chief. I mean, he is the guy that's been here through the whole thing, been here with Coach Reid the entire time, and he helped set the culture. He helped set the culture of what it means and to play for Coach Reid and to play in Kansas City, and I was able to come in and have that guy to rely on. And so he's breaking all the records now, and he's all about the team, so I want to make sure he gets that, and hopefully we can get another football for him later in the season when he actually breaks the record.
The Chiefs have won 5 of their last 6 games and hit the road to Buffalo for an AFC Championship rematch against the Bills next week. The Pitt State women's soccer team is playing in only their second season as a program, but the Gorillas have burst onto the scene with an 11-2-2 record so far this year. And after a Senior Day match win over 23rd-ranked Northwest Missouri State, a pair of athletes received recognition. Freshman defender Livy Jones and sophomore goalkeeper Jocelyn Kramer have been named MIAA Athletes of the Week. In their last 2 matches, Jones has played a big role in back-to-back shutout performances and even netted a goal against Missouri Western last Friday. Speaking of shutouts, Kramer notched her 7th and 8th shutouts of the season last week. This year, she is first in the conference for goal against average at under a half goal per contest. Kramer is also second in the MIAA and 12th in all of Division II with her 8 blank sheets. Basketball season is rapidly approaching, with the Pitt State men's squad taking the court this weekend in their first games. While the Gorillas women's squad waits to tip off their season in the middle of November, the preseason rankings dropped on Tuesday. As Pitt State gears up for the season, they are ranked number 7 in the WBCA Division II preseason national rankings. The Gorillas are coming off a historical season a year ago, finishing with the best record in program history in their first ever Final Four appearance. And while there's a lot of new with this year's squad, the expectations continue to climb for PSU. That's it for sports. We're back with more after the break.
It's the regular season for the NFL, NHL, and NBA, and the postseason for the World Series for baseball. As Fox's Joe Morgan reports, many professional athletes may already be thinking about next year's tax season.
If you live in one state and work in another, you have to let the IRS know about it when tax time arrives. If you work in more than one state, that's also something you need to tell the IRS. And for professional athletes, competing on the road makes figuring out income taxes very complicated.
Take example, a professional baseball player. How many cities does that baseball player play in? They will owe a tax return sometimes in 10 to 15 states. So it can be a little bit onerous for a first-time professional athlete. When they first get their check, it's great, and then they realize I have to pay tax everywhere.
Tax attorney and CPA Rich Hoffman says professional athletes need to track where they are when they're working. But he says for most pro athletes who work for an organization, the organization will do the tracking. And he says how an athlete's contract is structured could affect where their income tax is paid.
They might be able to structure some of their compensation as deferred compensation. There may be some things they can do in terms of signing bonuses and residency when that bonus is realized. So there's some really cool things you can do, but again, it really depends on the player and the facts and circumstances.
And Hoffman says pro athletes should get an agent who knows what's going on and has access to tax expertise. In Los Angeles, Joe Morgan, Fox News.
Demi Lovato announces her first tour in 3 years. Paul McCartney's post-Beatles story gets the documentary treatment, and Johnny Knoxville hosts a new Fear Factor reboot. Those stories and more coming up next in Hollywood Nation. A pop superstar plans a road trip and an iconic reality competition gets revamped. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has all the latest in today's Hollywood Nation.
How can I ever do anything that's anywhere near as good as the Beatles?
McCartney shares Knoxville hosts and Lovato tours in the Hollywood Nation. Demi Lovato is heading back out on the road in 2026. The pop superstar announced her It's Not That Deep tour kicks off April 8th in Charlotte, North Carolina. The 23-city run marks her first North American trek in 3 years and will feature songs from her latest album alongside her biggest hits. Austin Butler and Michael B. Jordan are gearing up for a stylish return to the 1980s. According to The Hollywood Reporter, they're in talks to star in Universal's Miami Vice movie as undercover detective duo Crockett and Tubbs. Production is expected to begin next year ahead of a theatrical release on August 6th, 2027.
And this is Fear Factor.
Johnny Knoxville trades pranks for panic in today's first looks. Fox dropped a new promo for its reboot Fear Factor House of Fear with Knoxville as host. The show follows strangers facing extreme stunts, psychological challenges, and ruthless mind games in a remote location. One competitor will conquer all and walk away with the grand prize. It premieres in January on Fox.
1, 2, 3.
Paul McCartney's Life After the Beatles takes center stage in the trailer for Man on the Run. The documentary features rare archival footage and explores his creative reinvention with Wings, the band he formed with his late wife, Linda. The film will play in select theaters before streaming on Prime Video February 25th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of otters sinking jack-o'-lantern baskets at the Oregon Zoo in Portland. How fun. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.